Database, domains, all right? Own it, be the master of your domain. It's very important in life to be the master of your own domain. Keep it super simple. Own your email address, one email address, and own the domain on which that email address is based. You buy the domain. Don't assign that task to somebody else, like your associate or a staff member or whoever. Why? Well, I know of one broker. Luckily, she is just an amazing, stellar human being, doesn't have a vindictive bone in her body, so it's all good. But she actually owns the domain of the #1 competing brokerage in her town. And the reason is because she worked there at one time. And so she registered it because she was told to register it on her credit card, and then he'd pay her back later, which he did. And then later on, when things got a little wonky and the wheels came off and she went off to do her own thing and left the brokerage, I don't even think this guy realizes it at this point. She just quietly pays the renewal, every 10 years for the web domain. But she could shut his entire website down and shut his email down overnight. Now, how's that for having a stranglehold on the competition? I mean, that's phenomenal. That's a phenomenal screw up on the part of the original person. So go to GoDaddy and own the domain, right? But anyway, we'll get into the details of how to here as well. Keep it super simple. This is not super simple. This is a pain in the ass email address. I know because it's mine. It's got the 2 E's next to each other. People, when they type it, mortgage with an E, expert with an E, so it's like 2 E's, or is there supposed to be one? Like, it's too long, it's too complicated. The word mortgage is not a word that people are spelling on a daily basis. It sucks. It's a horrible email address. I want to change it, but as you can imagine, 10 years later, what a nightmare that's going to be. But I'm going to try. But don't do this to yourself. Don't make it too complicated. Pursue simplicity with the email address if possible. And I know how complicated some of your guys' email addresses are because 11 of you typoed your own email addresses when registering and therefore didn't get any of the registration notifications. Incidentally, the 11 of you that are over 100 million, that's a different 11 than the 11 that typoed their email addresses. Not that I'm making any point there, but anyway, keep it super simple. This is much simpler. I've registered this domain, and this will be the new email address. But changing it is going to be painful, and I registered it like a year ago, and I set the email account up like 6 months ago, but I just haven't done anything with it because you got to verify the domain on MailChimp, and then you got to notify everybody, and then I got to run through it. Anyway, start simple. I really encourage you. But, as I say, changing, not so simple. So get it right the first time. And ideally, you do want to own an email address with your name in it. And I'm going to say the word mortgage, even though I just said it's complicated. But it doesn't hurt, because it's really hard to get mortgage through a header in an email title due to spam filters. But if it's your email address, then it kind of works. So your name is kind of a go-to, though, right? I mean, I do have dustinwoodhouse.com. Associate, admin, your name, right? Control the emails. So if you do hire an associate, if you do hire admin staff, you want them using your email address. You want control over that because nothing lasts forever, right? Nothing lasts forever, and at some point, there may be a parting of the ways. You may choose to liberate that associate or liberate that admin person. And at that point, you want to have control over the email address. You don't want your clients emailing your associate's personal email. That would be a huge mistake. And this is kind of interesting too. So yes, I gave a presentation in 2018, and I put this slide up and I said, mortgagesinkelowna.com. How is that still available, right? Of course, by the end of the presentation, it wasn't. But I thought, just last night, I wonder if Mortgages in Vernon is still available. Like, Vernon and Kelowna are quite close to each other. It is. Mortgages in Vernon, still available. I'd want to have the .ca and the .com, but mortgagesinlakecountry.ca. I got an email one time from a broker who had a Gmail account, and it was mortgagesinlakecountry@gmail.ca. I'm like, why not mortgagesinlakecountry.ca? Like, why not own the domain rather than have it in your Gmail address? Because somebody else can register this domain still to this day, and now your email address becomes a conflict with something that they own. So I'd probably try and avoid Gmail, not the solution. Mortgages in Big White, that was available. Mortgages in Sask, mortgages in AB, mortgages in BC is taken. Mortgages in Halifax, mortgages in Niagara, all available last night. Somebody right now is going to GoDaddy and swiping those. But it's interesting how easy it is to be, Bob at mortgages in your town, your province. Like, they're still available. They're still available. Mortgages in Halifax, available last night. That's a screenshot I took last night. And .com, as I say, .ca.com. I would grab them both, always. So, your name? Absolutely. That's real estate you should camp out on. I registered the domain names for myself and my kids, right? Absolutely. Like, 15 years ago, because that's real estate you want to own. Along with the misspellings. Okay, that's an exaggeration. Not every single day, every week I get emails. I get called Duncan, I get called worse, I get called all kinds of things. But I get Dustin a lot, right? Because AN is just weird. Who does that? Right? But it's an old family name, that's why it's an AN. But Dustin Woodhouse actually is also into dirt biking and lives in the UK. Interesting guy, everything's cool there. There's another Dustin Woodhouse who's a tech developer, of all things, in the States, who's really annoyed with me that I won't give him the domain. He hasn't made me an offer. He just emails me randomly every now and then and wants me to give him this domain. I'm like, you're the tech guy. How did you not register this before me? But as I say, if you've got a unique spelling, if you're Jane, Jayne, I'd register, Jane, Jane, as well. I'd register them both. And that way, if people go searching for you, they find you, no matter whether they spell your name correctly or not.